Okay, let's get started on the floor. Nice comfortable position. Let's stretch it out and bend that top leg. So without very carefully, take some effort to bring your knee and your toe down. Let's do about 10 of these and just wake up everything in that pelvic area, pelvic girdle, hips, core, legs. You got it. And then let's bend our knees. So everything's about 45 degrees, hips 45, knees 45. Keep your feet glued together. Let's add in 8 clamshells. And then 8 foot lifts. So we're doing internal rotation. And bring your leg up parallel, 4 little circles one way. And for the other way, well, this is a wake up call for our hips. 3. And then bring it down, give yourself a hand, but let's rotate that leg out, straighten out that bottom leg. I want you to lift it up and rotate from the hip. Bring your heel up and your toes down to the floor. And let's do 10 nice slow lifts, waking up that inner thigh. And let's come onto our back and let it loose. So let's take our knees down side to side. When we come back to center, lift up into a bridge. It might feel a little uneven because one side was worked and the other side wasn't. 3, 4, and last one. And roll it over to the other side. I'm going to butt pivot so I can see you. And we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. So nice comfortable position. Bottom leg straight, top knee bent. Reaching, trying to stretch those muscles, not just rolling the body. Good. So the side that has more internal rotation issues, it's going to have a hard time coming to the front. The side that is a little more externally challenged is going to have a hard time making that reach to the back. Okay, and let's hold it here. Bend our knees, start with your knees stacked. If you're leaning back, you'll see your top knee is way behind your bottom knee. Let's start with everything stacked and go for those clamshells, keeping them stacked when they come down. Good. 6. And let's glue those knees together. 8 lifts up your foot. See if you can really feel that hip moving. It doesn't freak you out. And then with your legs parallel, 4 little circles. Use your hip muscles. I don't care what your foot is doing, at least not right now. Let's go the other way. Good. And then bring that foot down and back. Stretch the bottom leg out. We're going to lift it up a few inches so you can rotate. It's like you're trying to reach the floor with your toes and the ceiling with your heel. So really making those inner thigh muscles work. And let's roll over. Do a good morning stretch into an up dog. Pushing the shoulders away from your ears, hands into the floor. And let's come up into a plank. And let's do 5 down, sorry, I can talk, plank to down dog. So plank, I get up to a down dog, let everything release and stretch, back to a plank, to an up dog for 2, or down dog, I mean. 3, 4. And then hold it here. Let's pedal out your feet, stretch out the back of your legs. And then holding that down dog, we're going to step your left foot towards your left hand and reach up for the ceiling and hold for 3, 2, 1. So you're going towards the knee that's in front. Bring that arm down. We're going to step it back, hike up into down dog. Find your down dog, pedal out 3 or 4 times. And then we'll step right foot towards your right hand, and we're going to reach up towards the right. Okay, a nice big hip stretch from this. So let's do this one more time each side. Hiking up into a down dog, stepping forward to your left hand, reaching up to your left, up towards the ceiling, and then bringing it down, stepping it back, hiking it up, stepping it forward, and reaching up to the right. You always want to be turning towards whichever leg is in front. Let's bring both knees down. Let's stretch out your wrists just a little bit. Let's do one at a time. Fingertips towards your knees. Rock back. Make it a little dynamic. Ease into that stretch. And switch sides. Let's come into a little frog squat. If your ankles and your knees will allow you to do this. And think about sitting back towards your heels, pushing your heels down towards the floor, coming up higher on your toes and sinking your heels down. So we're coming up high, sinking them down. And then from here, we're going to press into the floor with our hands, press into your heels, straighten your legs, and come into a forward fold. You can straighten your legs out, straighten your feet out. Hold onto your elbows and shift your weight side to side. So your elbows might be going towards your right knee and your left knee. Let's do one more. Over to the right, over to the left. Bring your hands onto your knees. Step your feet a little wider. And let's drop one shoulder down, drop the other shoulder down. Keep waking up your back. Let's do one more each side, nice. And come back to center and sink down into that squat. And shift your weight side to side. Feeling those muscles we worked at the very, very beginning. And bring your hands on your knees, come up just a little bit higher, take your legs a little bit wider, and let's go side to side. And coming back to center, let's walk our feet in, roll your shoulders. And let's do some nice big arm swings. Nice. And getting ready for the heat wave this weekend. We're gonna do some backstrokes. Thinking nice cool thoughts. And then we're gonna take that same idea to our hips. Hold on for balance if you need it, or hold on to your hips. Just take one leg up and around. Absolutely hold on if you need it. We're only doing about 5 circles this way. And then we'll switch legs. Find your balance on your other leg, or hold on for both. And listen to your hips pop. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Feet under your hips. Let's do a little bit of prancing. Let your arms move. Hopefully you got right arm, left leg. You got the opposition thing going. Good. And then finding your balance again on one leg. Leg swings. Feel like we're using centrifugal force. I don't know if it works inside your body when you do that. It was like, oh, we're going to get the blood all the way through your leg. As if it wasn't already there. Actually, we're just warming up that hip joint. And let's go across. And then let's add a little rotation. Pelvis is turning as your leg comes around. Standing leg is doing the work here. Good. And let's switch sides. So start swinging, other leg forward and back. Oops, gonna hold on. And let's take it across your body. And then we're gonna add that rotation where you sweep your leg around. And your standing leg is doing the work holding you. A little bit more work here. One more. Let's shake it out. TikTok. And hula hoops. And we're gonna start jumping. Jumping's not your jam. Keep doing the hip circles, the hip openers, heel raises. It's only gonna take a minute or two. Grab a drink. And reverse direction for your figure eights. And today is single leg. Oh my God, single leg is harder, but we're gonna start bouncing with both legs. So just kind of get that loosey-goosey springiness in that lower body that you can propel yourself up, but you can also absorb yourself as you're coming down to the ground. Let's take it to single legs. 5, 6. Whatever your hands do, you can be creative. Let's go to the other side. Next week, we're going to add a band and try to be precise, going forwards and backwards and side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Today, I'm happy if I can just stay in one place. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Shake it out. We're going to turn those into some bounds. So we're going to leap over, find your balance, leap over, find your balance. Push, propel, and land. I like to think this will help me with rock hopping. I'm not so sure it will on slippery algae covered rocks, but I'll give myself every psychological advantage I can. Okay. Grab a drink. We're going to take 20 seconds here and we'll do our split squats. So the break is not because you're out of breath. It's not because you're tired. It's because jumping drains your nervous system. It's a neurological thing that's going on. It's very demanding. Giving yourself a break allows your muscles and your nervous system to reset. So you need it, it's there. So let's come into a split squat position. So depending on your knees, depending on your ankles, if you're jumping, if you're not jumping, bear with me. You may have your feet closer, you may have your feet farther. Do what feels good to you. We're going to do 5 inline jumps on one side, and then we're going to switch. So we're going to start here, go for 5, 4, 3, 2, pushing off both feet, 1, step it together, and switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step back with the other leg. We're going to go for 3s. 3, 2, 1. Step together. Other leg goes back. 3, nice. 2, and 1. Step it together. Shake it out. We're going to come down on the floor. On the floor? I'm looking on the wrong day. Yes, we are coming down on the floor. We are going to do a 4-point bird dog. Now I'll ask you to stand up and work again. So bird dogs, usually you do with our toes pressing into the floor. But again, make them 4 points. We usually turn them into hovers. For this, we're gonna take the strain off your hands and maybe push it onto your knees. So from here, we're gonna do bird dogs with your feet up in the air. And it's not easy. I would not suggest trying to do this on a balance beam. So let's go for 8 total, 4 on each side. You can start off keeping your fingers in contact with the floor. And then gradually lifting them up. You see how wobbly I am if you're even looking at the screen. I have 1 more on each side to make it to 8. When you think about cinching a drawstring around your abs, around your hip bones, bracing your abs so tight, and we're done. I think we're done. We're going to come up to standing. We're going to try these twice. Right now, I want you to grab a moderately heavy weight. We're going to do around the world with a chop. Or a hay baler, as it were. Going when you're moving up, that's a hay baler. When you're coming down, it's a chop. But we're going to come around the body and reach up with straight arms, come down. Again, I want you to imagine there's a drawstring cinching your hip bones tight and together. Your abs are braced, your glutes are braced. I'm looking at you and looking to see if your hips are moving as the weight's moving. I want everything from here down to be solid as a rock. And the only thing that's moving is that upper body. And it doesn't matter to me what pattern you find as long as we're alternating sides. Straight arm up, nice and slow, controlled, and bring it back down to the same side. Good. The same side twice. Like says, you do you, don't copy me. Let's bring the weight down. Let's try those 4-point bird dogs one more time. And again, to engage these deeper lower muscles that support our back and keep us going. You can draw up through the pelvic floor like you're doing a Kegel. You can brace these abs. Doesn't mean pulling your stomach in and holding your breath. Think about cinching a drawstring around these and trying to tighten these lower abdominal muscles as we come down on the floor. It feels different when you're on hands and knees. So let's get down on your hands and knees and see if you can find them. So much more challenging bird dog to do. So we're going to bring our knees up. We're going to go for 8 more total, 4 on each side. So 4. If your hands don't leave the floor, don't worry about it. We'll work on building the stability. Long, strong, stable thoughts. Your body is a stability machine. You got this. Okay. Now let's come up. We've done your 8. We'll do 8 chops. This time I'll do a better job of counting instead of talking. So maybe you will be able to follow me without getting lost. So let's come around and up, around the other way. That's 2. And 3. 4. You guys are looking good. 5. 6. 1 more each way. 7. And 8. Nice work. Let's put that weight down. You can get into the meat of our workout. Holy moly, we are there, the meat of our workout. We are doing, oh God, which day are we on? I flipped the days because we started on Thursday. I apologize. We're starting on the floor. We have our supine laying on our back, leg sweeps. We're going to go for 12 on each side. We have a crouching push-up. We're going to go for 6 because that crouch makes it more challenging. And then we're going to get up, do our pulsing lunges to a curtsy, and our walnut crusher servers. So we have nice, strong, lean arms. Yay. And then we'll come back to the floor, go into a hover, and do some rows, and then leg extension circles. So no weight required. If you have ankle weights, you're welcome to try this. You don't need to get them. It just might add something to it. But meantime, let's focus on what our legs are doing. So we're starting with our feet on the floor, not from tabletop. And we're going to push with a flexed ankle, lift up. You're pulling with your quads, bend your knee, and sweep it out again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and switching sides, shoot out. 2, 3, sweeping just above the floor, bringing it up. 8, 9. Good. You should feel your quads nice and warm. What we're going to do with those quads, those thigh muscles that are so strong, we're going to roll it over and turn it into a crouching push-up. So setting up from your knees or from your toes, push up, rock back, push up, and rock back from your knees. Don't stick your booty up like I just did. Make it a nice plank push-up from your knees. 6 to 8, I'm going to watch you. Nice and strong, looks good. Nice. So when you're done with those, only 6 or 8, let's come up to standing. Grab some weights if you want some resistance for your legs. We're going to do the pulsing lunge to a curtsy 8 times on each side. So pulse and cross. And we're going to stay on one side and then switch legs. And 8. Switching sides. Find your lunge and cross. Looks good. And take those legs out. And we'll see. We see if I have the right weight for the next one. So, walnut crusher to a server punch. Forward. 5. These weights are feeling heavy. 6. 8. 9. Last one. Good job. Let's bring the weights down. Grab a drink. We're going to be back on the floor. Swing your arms a little bit. We have hover rows coming up, so hope you didn't put your weights too far away. You can use the dumbbells under your hands to keep your wrists neutral if your wrists are sensitive. Pressing your toes into the floor, we're going to lift up into a hover, and we're going to go for 8 on each side. You can take your feet wider. Your goal is to keep yourself steady. Your upper body will move as you row, because that's just what your upper body does. But I don't want your whole body doing this as you're lifting. So try to find that stability in your lower core, and let's hit it. 2, 3, 5. Squeeze your abs, squeeze your glutes. Welcome down onto our backs. Last one in the set. We have 2 sides to do. If you feel like coming up into a bridge and making these circles is too easy, you are welcome to add a weight on your hips. But remember, the goal is, while we're up here and extending that leg, we don't want our hips wobbling. We want to keep them steady. So we're going to go for 6 circles in each direction on each leg. Adding the weight is your choice. So feet, knees, and hips all in alignment, lifting up into a nice strong bridge. Press through one foot, extend the other leg, and let's get those circles going. Actually, I think it's more like a teardrop. And reverse. And bring it down. Line up your hips, knees, and ankle on the other side. On both sides. Let's lift up into a bridge without changing that leg alignment. 6 each way on the other side. And I find there's always one side where I have to focus more on what the bridge is doing than what the foot is doing. And bring your hips down, hug your knees in, rock side to side. We're going to take a minute or two here, and then we'll get going again with round 2. So stretch what needs to be stretched. Grab a drink. It's warming up pretty fast even up here. So make sure you're drinking enough, staying hydrated. So this week and last week, we counted repetitions. I think next week and the week after, we'll switch to a timed workout. And it'll be how much work you can do in that amount of time. I think 40 seconds of any of the body weight work is a long time to be doing the body weight work. So if it doesn't feel like we're doing much now, focus on activating what needs to be activated. And we're gonna push the gas pedal next week and amp it up a little bit. So we're gonna start on our back. I think we did 10 leg sweeps. So we're gonna go for 12 this time. Settle in. Check that the back of your rib cage is on the floor. Check where your pelvis is in relationship to the floor. Find a neutral spine where you feel the floor with your back. And let's start with your non-dominant side. Bring your knee in, push that heel through, and lift it up. Nice big stretch. Engage those quads to make that stretch happen. You can keep your ankle flexed the whole time. Or you can point as you're sweeping, flex as you're coming up. And I've lost count, so one more. There we go. Let's switch sides. 1, 2, 3. Some of this is also keeping your pelvis stable as your leg is moving. And as you come up, pull, pull, pull with those quads. Bring your leg up as high as you can. Get as big a stretch as you can. We have 2 more. I have 2 more. And rest. So by pulling up, using these muscles, stretching your hamstrings, we're working the quads, double working them in this pair of exercises because we're going to roll over and do our crouching push-ups. And this time, let's go for 8 to 10. See what it feels like to you from your knees or from your toes. Just make sure you have that nice strong plank. Remember, we got that drawstring around your hips. Abs are engaged, glutes are engaged. Down and back. When you're all done, come into child's pose. Breath, come on up. We have our lunges and our arms. So weights or no weights, your choice. Let's start this time, non-dominant leg in front. Let's go for 10 lunges and a crossover. Double pulse and a cross. Nice save. Good. Shake it out. Get ready to switch sides. Snapping it back. Wait. Now we go. 2. Thanks. You got this. I feel it too. Come back when you're ready. And one more. Ow, ow, ow. I'll say it for you because I can't hear you. There you go. Shake those legs out. Hey. Whew. Find your weights. And step touch. Just let your legs calm down a little bit. You can have a little break. '90-degree arms. Crisscross and punch. 2. Nice. 5. 6. Think we can get to 10 this time? 7. 8. Almost there. 9. Nice work. Let's bring the weights down. And swing those arms out. And grab a drink. I'll be right there. We're coming back down on the floor to do hover rows. If it's not floating your boat for whatever reason, your ankles are bothering you, do a plank row or bird dog row where you're not using so much ankle. Maybe even maybe a plank from your knees row is an option. If your wrists are bothering you, then find a way to keep your wrists neutral and maybe hold the hover. If both your wrists and your ankles are bothering you, this isn't the workout for you, or this isn't the exercise for you today. Let's grab our weights. Take your feet a little wider than usual. Let's go for 16 rows. So lifting up until a hover if you're doing that. Paying attention to how much your body is moving, not even how much weight you're lifting here. It's all about stability. And 16. As you get stronger, not that you're not strong, but the more familiar you are with the move, the more you get into the position where you're bracing and holding yourself stable without having to think about it. I still think about it. For example, you can lift heavier weights. You won't lift quite as much because it's going to be energy intensive. But Kind of comes with the territory. You have to slow down a little bit or go lighter and focus on what needs to be focused on. So let's, maybe that make any sense at all. Let's come into our bridge position, hips, knees, and ankles all lined up. You're gonna press into both feet. Lift up those hips as high as you can and hold it there. Take one leg up. Let's do 8 circles one direction. 6 hips are staying as level as you can keep them. And 8 the other way. It's another thing where you just can't race through it, right? You need to find that stability and hold it. And if you move too fast, you lose it. And reverse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those knees, hips down, hug your knees in. The back always likes to help when you're doing bridges, which is why we do the leg lock bridges on Tuesday. So let's roll around a little bit and give your back thank you. And I think we have time to go through one more set. So since we're already on our backs, and our back is flat on the floor, unless you're up and getting a drink, let's start from this position and bring your feet down. And notice if your back is arching up or if you can keep it down without much effort. I want you to, let's do some pelvic tilts. Find that mobility. It's not all about stability. We need that mobility in the hips too. Heaven knows if you lose the mobility in your hips, your body will look for it elsewhere, probably in your back. And we don't want that. So let's get your back nice and neutral on the floor. Bring one knee in. Let's go for 10 sweeps. Really contracting as you bring your knee back in towards your chest. Switching sides for 12, 11. Notice what happens to your back as your leg goes low and around. Can you keep your back stable while your leg is moving? And 1. Good. Let's roll it over. Circle out your wrists before we come up onto our hands and knees. We'll do our crouching push-ups. Anywhere from 6 to 8 for set 3. Toes or knees are just fine. Let's hit it. And when you're all done, take your crouch into a child's pose and let your back rest for maybe 15-20 seconds before we stand up. Maybe another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The gentle wake up to come back to standing. Grab some weights or not, your choice. Double pulse to a curtsy. Double pulse and cross back. Good. Take that leg out. Come to the other side. And 3, 2, 1. Double and cross. You're done. Go into step touches. Oh, last one. Take it out. Good work. I hope my legs recovered before this weekend. Okay, let's forget about our legs for a minute. Let's bring our elbows at 90 degrees, crisscross, and punch out to the sides. Big rotation. 3. 2 more. Weights down. Bring your arms out. Bring them back down onto the floor. Last 2 exercises. Third time through. Hover rows, hopefully by now you are feeling how your body is moving when you try to brace and pull one side. If you want to go through this, you're welcome to stay after and we can talk about it for a few minutes. So let's grab our weights, come into our hover, or do it from your knees in a plank or from quadruped with your feet up if your ankles are being cranky today. Let's come up and go for 16 rows. So I think slowing down the moves makes it infinitely harder, depending on how much you slow it. When you go faster, you can lift more, but your body's also maybe rocking a little bit more. So it's kind of fine tuning what it is. There's always going to be a little bit of movement as the weight shifts. But you don't want to be losing stability to lift the weight. So let's come into a nice tall bridge. This time, let's try shimmying your shoulders underneath you. See if that helps you lift up a little bit higher. Everything is lined up. You're pressing through your whole foot. Leg 1 comes up, 6 each direction. And bring it down. Switching sides. Lift up. Take that leg up. Five and 6. Okay, bring your feet down. Do some pelvic tilts. Find that neutral spine. Then hug your knees in. Now let's make little circles. Let's cross one leg over the other. So I have left over right. I'm going to twist down to the left. Going for a big stretch in my right hip. And then let's switch sides, right over left. Take both legs down to the right. Roll all the way over onto your bellies. And the first thing we're going to do is prop ourselves up into an up dog of sorts. We're not lifted. Our legs are still on the ground. We're not lifted. But I want you to pull those shoulders down and look up again. Nice big stretch down the front of your body. And then lower yourself down. Keep your hands right by your shoulders. Let's take your left leg up and reach back to touch the floor with your toes. Nice big stretch. Roll back down, lift up with your right. Oops, I need to give myself more room. Nice big anterior stretch. And let's go left again. Right leg up. One more time. Make sure you're breathing as you're doing this. So onto your side. Grab hold of your leg, your knee, your shin, your ankle, your foot, and let's pull it back and just stretch that quad a little bit more. So see if you can push your leg into your hand while you're holding it. 5 more seconds. And then we can buck, pivot, or roll over onto the other side. So pull that leg back, push into your hand. You can hold your, I'm holding my shin right now. That works. You don't have to, depending on your ankles, you don't have to use your foot. Come onto our backs one more time. Let's cross your left ankle over your right knee. And let's butterfly that knee. We asked a lot of our hips. Okay, and then keeping that knee pressing away from you. Just twist down to the right. Keep that hip open. Stay about 10 more seconds. Keep trying to open up that hip. Nice stretch on the outside of that hip, right where the top of the IT band is maybe. Let's come up and switch sides. So butterfly, butterfly. Knee presses away and comes back in. And then holding that knee away from you, just twist down to the left. Or if you're on the other side, vice versa. And we'll hold it here for about 10-15 more seconds. And let's roll all the way over onto your right side again, or your left side if you want to face me. We're going to do our knees tucked up and open book. So reaching forward, going for a nice big upper body twist this time. You can keep your knees tucked up, or you can straighten them out. Sometimes people will tell me they get more pops in their back. Whatever you need right now. 5 more seconds here. And bend those knees, bring them in. Let's roll over to the other side. Tucking those knees up. And then, oh, opening like a book. A book with a very stiff spine in one direction. There we go. And keep your knees bent or straighten them. See if it feels good to you. It's your stretch, no right or wrong. Breathe into it, let your ribcage expand. And let's bend our knees, bring them back in onto your back. Lift them up. Hug your knees in one more time. Let's do happy baby. Your lower back completely relax into the floor. And then reach behind your thighs and roll yourselves up. Nice work this morning. Try to stay cool this weekend. Hope we can all stay cool through next week too. Thank goodness the workouts are in the morning. I'm perspiring. I'm going to stop recording.